It's time to talk with Jay Foss.
Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too, Jay Foss.
The magic happens when you have the right person in the right place at the right time.
If we're having fun, everyone else is going to have fun naturally.
Keep it local radio.
I'm obsessed with transformations on this show. And so I guess that in this case, you are that paradigm shift. You are the thing that transforms people. That's what people call me.
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in.
But then the question is everyone tuned into the right frequency?
Are you tuned in?
Making our corner of the world a little brighter.
Did you make the right decision here? Like, are you, did you bite off more than you can chew?
In figuring out what makes people tick whenever we start something new.
Yeah.
There's always that question of
raising your inner voice.
Wait, was this too much? Did I start hiking a mountain that's a little too high for my level of experience?
With Jay Foss.
It's a quote by Thoreau. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it.
Not just another talk show.
We cover all things that make us human.
It's time to be heard.
How can my values and how can these inner thoughts that I have help me be a more whole human being?
Online and on air.
We can't legislate being a good, decent human being. So what can we do? We can become more active in this community.
Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
Hey, party people. Thanks for tuning back in. Welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice here on this fine Sunday evening. Well, raising your inner voice. What is this all about? If you're tuned in before, then you know that this show, it's all about what makes us human. What is it about this human experiment and experience that we're all partaking in, whether we want to or not? We had no choice in the matter, but yet we are all here partaking in this an experiment of being human and figuring out what are things that make you tick. And how do you cope with life when you find out things that make you tick? Well, this evening on the program, we're talking all about surprises. Surprises. Yep. Those things that pop up and usually you don't expect them, right? And you don't expect them, but yet many times you are faced with different areas and aspects of surprises, which makes them all the more surprising, right? Looking it up, surprise is one of the 7 universal emotions, and it triggers powerful psychological and physiological response in people. So looking at surprises, Jay, why did you even want to go down this road? Well, the whole reason that I got started thinking about surprises for this evening was the other day I attended a wedding shower, a surprise wedding shower. And as the couple was coming in, they were both caught off guard because they were expecting to walk into a meeting, but they were showered with people yelling surprise to them. And the bride to be actually said, "What is this?" Like she was so confused by it. And I just got thinking about, well, what? I personally love surprises. Granted, I'm not the recipient of the surprises most times, but as a wedding DJ, I love it when couples factor in little surprises that really make their wedding day a reflection of them. And so talking about these surprises and elements got me thinking about the fact that I think many times most of us have one of two reactions to surprises. And many times those reactions to surprises can take on various forms because they relate with how we deal with the uncertainty of life. Because we all know that life is uncertain. But how we deal with that, wow, that's a whole nother story. If you want to join the conversation, you're always welcome to call into the show, 617-843-5393. Feel free to leave me a voice message there or shoot me a voice memo there. Otherwise, you're always welcome to comment on the video feed on YouTube. Or you can comment on any podcast platform that you're listening on. What do you think about this topic of surprises and being surprised? Are you loving it? Do you hate surprises? Do surprises make you feel uncomfortable, whether or not you're the recipient of it? The initial response to a surprise is largely the same for everyone, regardless of whether the surprise is good or bad. I think that is a topic worth bringing up, or a point worth bringing up, is because when you're caught by surprise, it doesn't matter whether it's a good surprise or a bad surprise, because the whole point is that it's something unexpected happens, right? I mean, people can be upset by surprises, but people can also really embrace and love surprises. So what's your response? Well, it's a neuro alert that tells the brain something important and unexpected is happening, and all cognitive resources are immediately pulled to that moment. This is a survival mechanism that helps us quickly assess a situation. Right? So when you're caught off guard by something, you are forced to be in the moment and figure out what on earth is going on. What is happening? Why was I expecting this thing to happen and something other than what I expected to happen is happening? Something other than what I expected to happen is happening right in front of my eyes. I'm being forced into this. So you're using all of your skills and all of your senses, I should say, to figure out what is happening. What's happening? What's going on? So physical and physiological responses include freezing. For a fraction of a second, the body physically freezes. Facial expressions, the eyebrows raise, the eyes widen, and the jaw drops. This is a reflex that helps us take in more information. Gasping or exclamations. People often let out a gasp or say short words like wow or oh my God. Increased arousal, heart rate, and breathing increase as the body prepares for a potential threat or opportunity. A burst of adrenaline may be released, and the pupils may become dilated. So those are some of the physical and physiological responses, but there's also psychological and cognitive responses. Attention hijack is one. The brain is immediately focused on the new stimulus, interrupting any ongoing thoughts or actions. Curiosity, right? That's a good one. The initial freeze is quickly followed by an attempt to figure out what is happening. And finally, loss of control. For many, especially those who dislike surprises, the feeling of losing control and being vulnerable can be uncomfortable. Of course, it's uncomfortable. I think vulnerability is something that is uncomfortable for the vast majority of us people. Some people tend to do it easier. Some people tend to lean that way. But I think it is hard and uncomfortable to be vulnerable. You can disagree with me. Maybe we can agree to disagree. I'm in agreement about that. That most people, that it's hard to be vulnerable and uncomfortable to be vulnerable. But yet, that when we're vulnerable, that is like the juice of life, because we're authentically ourselves. We're okay with our reactions. We're accepting of the present moment, and we're being more present in the present moment. That's probably why I like surprises. So the plus side for me is that we are more in the moment. We're forced into it to figure out what's happening. What I don't like about surprises is the uncomfortable aspect of being vulnerable. So it's a toss-up for me. I guess you could say it's probably akin to people who view life with pessimism versus optimism. And I'm saying there is at least a third way of choosing how to respond to life. And it's a mixed bag. It's a both and. Both and. Because isn't that what life mainly is? It's both one thing and another. And both. It's a mixed bag, baby. It's not just one thing. And that's okay. I think that when we want control over an answer, we want control of a label on life of I want a good thing, I want a bad thing. But most of life, I mean, life in and of itself is surprising, isn't it? The fact that we're here, the fact that we're spinning on this ball called the Earth, hurling through space and time. And yet we're just, living our lives, carrying on as if we're not doing that. Carrying on as if we don't know, or carrying on as if there is no time up at the end, even though we all have an expiration date and expiration time. Carrying on like life doesn't matter sometimes, when truly your life and mine do in fact matter. If to no one else, they matter to our loved ones and probably to our enemies as well. Because otherwise there wouldn't be such a strong reaction and emotion to it. Speaking of emotion, the subsequent emotion-driven reaction for surprises, right? After the initial brief shock, the emotion of surprise quickly gives way to another emotion that is determined by valence or nature of the surprise. So positive surprises, when the surprise is pleasant, it intensifies the subsequent positive emotions. Amplified happiness, the feelings of joy, delight, or excitement are amplified by the element of surprise. For example, a surprise gift can feel more meaningful than an expected one. There's also a shift in perception that happens. A positive surprise can lead to a shift in a person's perception of the situation or the person who delivered the surprise. But of course, going back to our dualistic mindset, there are negative surprises. When the surprise is unpleasant, it can amplify negative emotions. Intensified negative feelings of anger, sadness, fear, or despair can be intensified by the surprise element of a negative event. Like what? Well, such as a job loss or an unexpected argument. It can catch you off by surprise. There's denial and frustration. According to some psychological models, people may go through stages of denial. That can't be right, for example, and frustration as they try to process the unexpected negative event. So what does this mean? I mean, how do individuals actually deal with surprises? Well, while the core biological reaction is similar, how people feel about and cope with surprises varies greatly. Some people love surprises and seek them out, while others actively dislike them and find them unsettling. This can be due to a need for control, a dislike of uncertainty, or past negative experiences with surprises. Surprise! It's almost time for a commercial break. But that would not be surprising because you expected that. But isn't life, when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, isn't it built up? Isn't it built on? Isn't it built surrounding surprises? Good and bad, expected, unexpected. I mean, expected surprises don't always turn out the way we want. We're expecting one thing and another thing happens. I mean, that's why people get so reactive when their sporting team loses when they were planning on a win. Same goes for politics. Politics and sports, I think, are a lot in common in this regard regarding surprises. People react to losing their political favorite person versus finding out that the opposing party won. Or much more innocently, bringing it back to the example that I was recently in at a surprise wedding shower. Surprises can turn out differently than what we want them to be. It could be you're walking into a meeting thinking you're going to have a meeting, and then surprise, it's a wedding shower. We'll be talking more about surprises after this.
Stay with us as we continue raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
If you have any issues, topics, or voices that you think would be great to be heard on this show, please reach out, jay.foss@me.com. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, record a voice memo and email it to me, or tune in live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m.
How's your 401k? I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but we can prepare you for life's twists and turns. We'll make a plan to help your money last through your retirement years. Our team is dedicated to helping you achieve your financial goals. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Making our corner of the world a little brighter, online and on air. Raising your inner voice with Jay Foss.
And welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice. We're talking all about surprises on the show this evening. And you might be wondering, Jay, why on earth did you want to go down this road? Well, you know why, if you checked out the first segment. It's because I was recently involved with a surprise wedding shower. And it got me thinking too, how do we actually deal with surprises? How do most people react to surprises? And there's a combination of physical responses mixed with emotional responses. And surprise is considered one of the 6 basic emotions, along with, so there's happiness, there's sadness, there's anger, fear, disgust, and surprise. And you know this, surprise is usually very short-lived, often just a few seconds before it shifts into another feeling like joy, fear, or confusion. Have you ever been surprised? What was the most surprising thing? What's the most surprising thing that has happened in your life? Well, I feel like I've had so many surprising things happen that I don't even know where to begin. I mean, life itself, being born was a surprise for me. Um, yeah, so many things that I've had job loss. I've had a manic episode at one point. Um, yeah, I've had lots of different surprises in my life. Some good, some bad, and some I think were so surprising that I didn't even know what to make of them. It's funny because I think time can also transform surprises, or at least they do for me. Um, for example, like the job loss. When I lost my job, it was a couple years ago now. When I lost my job, it was like, I think, very confusing and unsettling. However, that turned into uh, motivation for I need to find something else. I need to make something else happen. One of my next steps um, into kind of a frantic, let's figure this out and fix it situation. And ultimately, with the job that I ended up at, I think I was pleasantly surprised by it all because there were elements of dissatisfaction that I was struggling with in my prior job, moments where I was just kind of sick of being there. So in the end, I think I was pleasantly surprised by something like job loss. We'd love to have you join the conversation. The number here, 617-843-5393, or shoot me a message, you can shoot me a text on this number, 617-843-5393, or you can text a voice memo. I would love to have your voice on the show. There's something about someone's presence, right, that's carried through their voice that isn't necessarily conveyed in just a comment or a text message. That's why I love having people call into the show or having people chime in audibly. That's why I love talking with guests on the show, because you get a different sense of reaction. You get a different sense of someone's presence and who they are when they're on the show than just what may seem to be. Right? And even that ends up being surprising. I mean, it's life. I take most things. I'm surprised by most things. Whether it's the fact that when you have plans, if I have a better time than I was expecting, I'm surprised by that. And I'm also surprised when I'm planning on a good time and it's not as good as I was expecting. Right? Because I don't know about you, but I end up forming judgments around a lot in my life. Oh, this is going to go this way. This is going to happen this way. And life doesn't happen the way I expected. Now, maybe that means I'm a bit of a control person. Maybe that means I'm very judgmental. Maybe that means nothing. maybe I'm overthinking things from the start, from the jump. And in overthinking things, I just end up going down this surprising road. Surprises. They catch me by surprise. Are they good? Are they bad? Well, it depends on the surprise, doesn't it? I would say it does. Looking at the social response to surprises, I mean, there is a communal element to surprise. It's not all just a personal response. And the reason I say there's a communal response is we throw surprise parties for people, right? We set up people for surprises. I mean, there are prank shows all about people surprising other people, usually with something not so good. That's why there are more pranks. I kind of miss my prank phase in life. And I think I do because I enjoyed surprising people. However, I was crazy enough that even good small surprises, it didn't have to be like a negative prank. It could be a relatively positive prank. Like I was saying earlier regarding surprise gifts, right? Surprise gifts, people love surprise gifts, maybe more so than even gifts they're expecting. So surprising people it takes an element, intentional surprises, which are usually good surprises, hopefully. Intentional surprises can be great surprises. And that's where the communal element comes in, because other people are either setting up the surprise, planning the surprise, attempting to make someone else feel good via not expecting something like a gift. So having those surprises makes us be in the moment. And people love, well, do people love being in the moment? Because we also, as a population, as a people, we also overdo it with, right? Drinks, drugs, alcohol, other things that will numb us from being in the moment. So not all surprises that put us in the moment are welcomed. And not being able to control things, being surprised, is very hard to deal with at times. But yet we can deal with life as it comes. And this raises a question of adaptability. How adaptable are you? Are you able to roll with the surprise when they come? Or when you get thrown a surprise in your life, does it stop you in your tracks? And is it hard to recover from that? And that probably depends on what the surprise is. Because I'm trying to think if there are any surprises that result in joy that stop people in their tracks. I guess there are, right? I mean, there are people that have God moments that could stop them in their tracks, that could be overwhelming joy. And it could cause the rest of their life to be chaos. So I think that there are moments of joyful surprises that will cause people to alter their lives. But we also know there are devastating surprises that definitely get under people's skin and cause them to struggle with surprise for the rest of their life. But these both are big, momentous surprises, which maybe isn't where you thought I was going with this. Maybe you thought that this was going to be more of a lighthearted surprise show, because that's how we started it. That's what kicked off the show. But not all of life is lighthearted. If you want to talk about it, I'm right here, ready to chat with you. And those deeper surprises could be more meaningful. More meaningful in the sense that they cause you to reevaluate your life. Hopefully you don't get hung up on it. I pray and hope that you are more adaptable when life does throw curves your way, regardless of whether it's a good curve or bad curve, but that you can flow with it and be in the moment and go with it. And not become bitter about life itself, because that would be a devastating surprise. Stay tuned in. We're going to continue talking surprises here on Raising Your Inner Voice this Sunday evening. We'll be right back after this. Surprise!
Want to connect with Jay? Dial in as we continue Raising Your Inner Voice.
Are you worried about the stock market, your 401k, or rising costs? Hi, I'm Luke Noble of Noble Financial Group. As a certified financial planner, I know you can't plan for everything, but our dedicated team of professionals can better prepare you so your money lasts as long as you do. Let us help. Visit NobleFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through MML Investor Services. Member SIPC. Noble Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of MML Investor Services.
Hi, folks. Paul from Chantilly Brewing. Have you been to our tap room in Beverly, Massachusetts yet? No? What? Oh, come on. All of our beer is gluten reduced, and we make our own hard seltzer cocktails and shandies. And we are dog and family friendly. Always. Our tap room is more than just beer. Pack up the kids and the dogs and come to 59 Park Street and see it for yourself. Or leave them at home. You'll be back. For upcoming events, hours, and to see our current beer list, visit chantillybrewing.com. That's GENTILE brewing.com to plan your visit.
What does living a better life mean? And what's your process in figuring that out? If you want to join in the conversation live, tune in Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to gather your thoughts first, record a voice memo and email it to jay.foss@me.com, because I would love to have your voice in this conversation. If you think someone else might need a conversation like this one, then let them know to get involved.
Not just another talk show. It's time to be heard. Online and on air. Raising Your Inner Voice with Jay Foss.
Welcome back to Raising Your Inner Voice here. Thanks for being with me on this podcast. And we're talking all about surprises on Raising Your Inner Voice this evening. Digging into whether or not you're the kind of person that likes surprises, or whether you're the kind of person who dislikes surprises, and what that may mean about you. Because after all, who was it? Knowing thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Okay, thanks, Socrates. That's helpful. But no, seriously, I think that knowing yourself and me knowing myself is the first step in figuring out what life is all about. So because of people's love or hate of surprises, it usually comes down to psychology, personality, and past experiences. The reason that some people love surprises is because they're thrill seekers. They have a high level of openness to experience, and they like novelty. That's why they enjoy surprises, because it breaks routine and feels exciting. They get a dopamine boost from the unexpected. They also generally trust in other people. If someone generally trusts that surprises will be good, they associate surprise with more positive emotions. And they also have a sense of wonder. People who enjoy surprises enjoy mystery, magic, and spontaneity. A surprise feels like life giving them an adventure. Now, the reason why some people hate surprises is because they have a need for control. What is control? Control is another form of predictability, right? Predictability. People who value structure, planning, or control can find surprises stressful. The brain sees the unexpected as, quote, potentially dangerous, end quote, until proven otherwise. Sometimes they may even have bad past experiences. If past surprises often turned out negative, like bad news, scares, or pranks, their brain wires surprise to equal a threat. There's also social anxiety. A surprise party, for example, means being the center of attention without preparation, which can feel overwhelming and stressful for some people. There's also a stress response. Some people's bodies react strongly to sudden changes, fast heartbeat, adrenaline spike, making even a good surprise extremely uncomfortable. So where are you? Where do you line up with this? Are you the kind of person who likes surprises, or are you the kind of person who dislikes them? Or is there, in fact, a third way? Okay, Jay, Mr. Third Way. In short, surprise lovers see the unexpected as exciting and joyful. Surprise-averse people see the unexpected as stressful or even threatening. So really, the same event, say a surprise party, like the one that I've been bringing up this whole show, could make someone ecstatic and another person feel cornered and anxious. Now, another question is, do you think there's a way of, for people that feel anxious, is there a way of adding a surprise element that would still be comforting? I think the way in doing that, if you have a person in your life that you want to surprise, but you know that they perhaps are more on the controlling side of life, well, you could be frank with them and ask them if they want a surprise, which would not be very surprising. But if you still want to surprise them with something good, but you don't want them to feel cornered or anxious, maybe do a small surprise where they have control over most things. So maybe not a full-blown surprise party, but something like a surprise gift, right? Because that would be less intimidating. Now, the level of surprise is also less there, right? I mean, it's not as intense of a surprise, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be for everyone. This is where knowing yourself and knowing other people comes into play. And the better you know yourself, hopefully, the better and more grace you have for other people. And vice versa. The more you know other people, hopefully that'll lend itself to you being a little bit kinder on yourself. Surprise is the topic of the show this evening. If you have any feedback for me, any comments you'd like to give, you know how to do it. 617-843-5393, or shoot me a message to JAY foss@me.com. Love to hear from you. In the meantime, I hope that you're enjoying the surprise of your life, the surprises of life, and that you are able to navigate them, roll with them, because by their nature, surprises are uncontrollable. They are. You can't control them, especially not after you've already been thrown in the midst of the pit. My dear friend and listener, may you meet the surprise with the appropriate reaction, and may you not be intimidated when you find them, but that you can recover well from it. And in that process, please be kind and gentle with yourself and share that same grace with others.
If you're enjoying this podcast, please help spread the word about raising your inner voice. Join the conversation live. Email jay.foss@me.com to suggest ideas to explore. Also share this podcast with your friends. Let those who need conversations like this have a chance to check it out.
Then let them know to get involved.